Are you looking for some lightweight, versatile RGB lights? Then I might have the answer for you. What's up everyone, my name is Paul DeFair, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at the Ulanzi VL110 RGB tube lights. I got my hands on a set of 4 of these from a friend who's loaning them to me for the purpose of making this review. So they're not my own, I'm not getting paid to say any of this, and I unfortunately have to hand them back. But let's start with a few scenarios where we might find a use for a light like this. Starting with the classic setup where our talent is watching TV, but of course she's not, because that's the light tube and the TV emulation mode. Very handy, and I can see myself using stuff like this a lot more often, because playing around with effects is fun and it gets you kind of into a creative mood. Moving on to the next scene, this is candle lit. As you can see, there's a candle on the table, and just out of frame to the right, there's one of the light tubes set to candle mode, which this is one of those effect modes that I wish you had more control over. For example, I would love for it to flicker a bit more. As it is right now, it is like fading in and out, and it's doing a little bit of flickering, but it's not noticeable enough the way I would like it. But the scene kind of works. And when we punch into a close-up, I moved the light right up to the candle enclosure, and it still works pretty well, I think. Another setup I had to test as soon as I got these was the bathroom scene where you shoot your camera into a mirror and you light it, like kind of a rundown bathroom greenish fluorescent light coming from above the mirror. Granted, I overdid it in this scene. It's too green, and yeah, I was just playing around. And this is the first thing I shot with these lights. There's a blue one in the background and a green one above the mirror. Actually, 2 above the mirror. I connected them together and used them that way. Of course, you have the police lights or emergency vehicle lights, like police, ambulance, and I think fire truck is in there as well. These modes are modeled after American emergency vehicles, which doesn't ring true at all for us here in Sweden. But here I plopped 2 of them next to me on the windowsill and just pretended to look out at a police car standing there with the lights on. This light is battery powered with an internal battery that you charge using a USB-C charger, or just a phone charger, whatever you want. They do charge pretty quickly, and thankfully you can use them while they're being charged. So that's always a plus. You can plug them into a power bank or something and hang that off a light stand or whatever. The battery life is also quite good, and I have yet to run out of battery on either of them when doing different test setups, or even when I was using them as a background light for a photography session that lasted about 2 hours, where they were pretty much on full blast for that entire time. And I think they got down to like half. So that's pretty impressive. One feature of this light that I have really fallen in love with is the magnets. Like on the back half of these parts, they're equipped with magnets, which means you can slap them onto a lot of metal surfaces like a fridge or a girder or light stand. Anything that would accept a magnet, you can stick this to. And that's what I'm doing for the background setup currently on the monitor stand and my safe, which is back there. Another cool feature of these lights are that you can hook them together end to end to make a longer tube light. And you do this by unscrewing this one, taking that off and putting this end into that end of another light. And that way you can pretty much infinitely extend these, although judging from the build quality, which it's not bad, far from it. But if you start stacking these together and lifting them or hanging them precariously, I wouldn't trust more than like 4 of them together at best, just to be on the safe side. And you should always keep safety in mind when you are filming. Apart from that, you also have the normal 1/4-20 mounting option, which means that you can screw on any kind of small tripod or a light stand, obviously, and plop them down wherever you like. So, what about the light output? Well, when it comes to color temperatures, you can go from 2500 Kelvin all the way up to 9000, which kind of looks like this. This is 2500 going up, 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 up. And I think we reached 9000 now. Yes, we have. So you can go from very warm to pretty cold, which is nice. And when it comes to the RGB side of things, you have the HSI control mode, which means hue, saturation, and intensity, which is the 3 parameters you can get any color out of that you wish. When it comes to the actual light output of these lights, they are pretty bright for being such a small light fixture, and I have yet to stumble upon a situation where I felt like I needed more light, at least for the purposes that I've used them for. So, to summarize, let's go through some pros. First of all, price. If you're looking for a light on a budget, then this is perfect. If you check on Amazon, at the current time of recording, it is $49, which is pretty good for a light that is this versatile and portable. Secondly, they are lightweight. They're very easy to hide and place in weird locations where you need a light, but you can't rig up a light stand. If you got a metal surface, just slap it onto that. If you have something to hide a light behind, well, these fit just fine. So they're amazing for accent lights and background and just kickers and stuff. The third feature that I would see as a pro for these lights are the batteries that, first of all, last quite a long time. They charge quickly, and you can run them off of USB-C power while using the lights. So you can pretty much plug them into the wall with a phone charger and run them indefinitely. Very lovely feature. And the final pro, at least for me, is that they've made me think a lot more about lighting, which might not be a feature of the light itself, but more of a byproduct of having a light that you can use in so many different ways. So, a couple of cons. First of all, the build quality or the materials, it is a lot of plastic, which means I would be pretty careful with these when you're using them in a production or something, because I don't think they would survive a fall from too high. The casing might crack or something. But if you're on a more serious production, I don't think you'll be using $49 lights anyway. Secondly, they don't have Bluetooth, which means no wireless control. And that is probably the biggest con that I've experienced. Because when you rig them up and you want to change something, you have to take them down to reach the control buttons, which is on the back. Coincidentally, the same side the magnets are on. So if you are putting it up with the magnets, you can't change anything because, well, the buttons are facing the surface you're attached them to. I would love to see the buttons and the display on the side of the light instead of having them here. Like, have them here or something. That would help a lot. But I think those are the two biggest flaws that I've noticed so far. Nothing that you can't work around, however, and whenever I have to hand these back, I might get a set for myself because they have really changed the way I do lighting and just quick setups. So, would I recommend these if you're on a budget and you're looking for RGB lights that are good enough? Yes, definitely. Get a couple. Just play around, and I think you'll find that you enjoy them. If you enjoyed my ramblings about this light, then hit the subscribe button and the like, whatever. Yeah, do or not. That is entirely up to you. I would appreciate it, though. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Take care.